Hello and welcome into your Matsu Miners pregame show here on your Matsu Miner Radio Network, brought to you by Nathal Auto Parts. I'm Dan Collins alongside my here in Coral Seymour Memorial Park, home of the Peninsula Oilers in Kenai, Alaska. If our voices or faces look a little unfamiliar to you, don't worry, you're just noticing that we are the new broadcast crew for this year, as last year it was Kevin Peel and Kyle Howard on the call, who I guess you would call it a season that came up just short for the Matsu Miners, for it was the third season in a row that they ended in second place. But Jordan, this year they're looking to get over the hump.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a team last year who finished 31-10. They were dominant. The cutoff from the first place team, which was the Miners, and the second place team, there was a huge gap there. Unfortunately, in the top of the World Series, the Miners won the first game of the series, so the three-game set, and ended up losing the next two, unfortunately. But yeah, it's three second-place finishes the last 3 years. But this is a ownership. Christopher and Ben Taylor, the head coach of the Miners this season, who's in the sports season, they recruit really well. They're always going to have some kind of contending team, and this season shouldn't be much different than that.
You know, you said the Matsu Miners taking what they were in the National League by storm last year. This year there won't be any bit of that. Instead of finishing strong as they were pretty much the whole season. And in case you are wondering about the new faces here on the Miners, we do have the lineup for you, as we will read it off here in just 1 second. We have Madison Nickens in center field. He's going to be leading off, and right behind him, Josh Bissonette at shortstop, batting third. Josh Rowland, he's going to be the DH today. In the cleanup spot, it's Jake Scudder. He's going to be at first. Garrison Schwartz, he's the left fielder, batting sixth. We have Cam Montgomery in right field. He's batting seventh. Batting eighth, it is Jonah Garrison. He'll be at the hot corner. And it's going to be the battery of Troy Squires. And we have Tyler White. Check that. Troy Squires is going to be catching and batting eighth. And then A.J. Lee is going to be in the ninth hole at second. And the Oilers, how are they going to be lining it up defensively? First to third, it is going to be Seth DeWitt, Andrew Bash, Jeff Chapron, he's going to be at shortstop. Man in the hot corner is Alex Seifert. And then if you're going from the outfield from left to right, it is Wong Shi-sung, Daniel Speak, Brian Room, and then it's going to be the battery mate of Dom Bazzani and Cameron Miller, Jake Duro, the DH. And the Oilers are headed up by manager Brian Daly. When we come back, it is going to be the first pitch of the Matsu Miner season here on your Matsu Miner Radio Network. And boom goes the dynamite.
So there's nothing on. I'm looking for something live. There you go.
Is it working? Jesus.
It took a while for it to come
Oh, I got blinded. I don't see any of the oh, there's one
You guys have umpires?
No.
Negative.
Home plate's Tim Davis.
Hold on.
Right. You guys almost got the box.
All right.
Home plate's Tim Davis.
Okay.
First base is Justin Phillips.
Okay.
Third base is Brad Polk. P-O-O-K.
Brad Polk. Thank you.
All right, yeah.
Brad Polk.
Brad Polk, P-O-L-K.
He's at third.
He's at third. Justin Phillips is at first. And Tim Davis is calling the balls and strikes.
Timmy Davis. Oh. And there they go.
You would think umpires have a host family too, right?
Have what?
A host family too?
None of the
How's that work?
umpires. They
You don't
probably,
think so? Think they're local guys?
they probably
No.
are.
No.
Guys, no. They bring them up from like the Big 12, Pac-12.
So all around the country.
Raleigh.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the third base line and help me welcome the visiting Matsu Miners. Batting first, playing center field, number 12, Madison Nickens.
Oh, yeah.
Batting second, playing shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette. Batting third, at the DH, number 25, Josh Roulette. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 22, Jake Scooter. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 18, Garrison Schwartz. Batting sixth in right field, number 16, Cam Montgomery. Batting seventh, playing third base, number 7, Jonah Garrison. Batting eighth, playing catcher, number 26, Troy Squires. And batting ninth at second base, number 5, AJ Lee. Pitching tonight for the Miners, number 15, Tyler Wyatt. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the first base line and help me welcome your Peninsula Oilers. Batting first, playing third base, number 26, Alex Seifer.
Nickens played at LSU UNES?
Eunice, yes.
Batting second, playing right field, number 37, Brian Rue.
And this is what he did last year with Maryland in 260 with Maryland.
Playing first base, number 23, Seth DeWitt.
Wasn't he with Maryland this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batting fourth, playing left field, number 29, Wang Shi-sung.
Yeah. I would have said in 2000.
Batting fifth, playing shortstop, number 6, Jeffrey Jabra. Batting sixth, at catcher, number 14, Cameron Miller. Batting seventh, playing second base, number 8, Andrew Bash.
Is this some water? Yeah, right.
That's yours, yeah.
Batting eighth, playing center field, number 28, Daniel Speak. Batting ninth, at DH, number 5, Jake Darrow. And pitching tonight for the Oilers, number 16, Dom Bazzani.
Troy Squires is the one who just started playing catcher last year, right?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with our national anthem, performed by Angela O'Neill of KO Entertainment.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave. For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention to the mound, where tonight's first pitch will be thrown by Chelsea Chess from ESPN 1140 AM radio.
Can't do any worse than what Snoop did yesterday.
I heard about that. What did he do?
Tied. Let's hear it one more time for Chelsea Chess.
Did he hit somebody? Hit the cameraman. Got a Cubs guy here. Gotta love those Cubs, huh?
Right.
Our umpires for tonight's game are Tim Davis, Justin Phillips, and Brad Pope.
One more minute.
We got 12 viewers at this moment.
There you go.
Not bad. Is your volume on?
I turned it all the way off. It's on mute.
Gotcha. We want to throw on the camera, but we're not on yet. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful sunny day from Kenai, Alaska. 7 p.m. temperature, about 65 degrees outside in Kenai from the gorgeous Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark. The Peninsula Oilers host the Matsu Miners. Let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Arby's. Batting first, playing left field, number 12, Madison Nickens. Batting second at shortstop, number 6, Josh Bichonette. At DH, number 25, playing third, Joshua Led. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 22, Jake Scudder. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 18, Garrison Schwartz. Batting sixth in right field, number 16, Cam Montgomery. Batting seventh at third base, number 7, Jonah Garrison. Batting eighth at catcher, number 26, Troy Squires. At second base, batting ninth, number 5, AJ William pitching. Right-handed pitcher, number 15, Todd Wyatt. Leading off is Madison Nickens.
Hello and welcome back to Coral Seymour Memorial Park in Kenai, Alaska, home of the Peninsula Oilers, for game one of the season opener between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. As we have first pitch here, taken for a strike by Madison Nickens. He's leading it off here, batting left for the Matsu Miners. And check that we now have 2 balls and a strike here to Madison Nickens, showing a good eye early on. Here's the pitch, and just misses. That is taken for a third ball. So once again, good eye here by Madison Nickens. He starts off this ballgame 3-0. It's Dom Barzini. He's a southpaw majoring in health and human performance at the University of Tennessee, Martin. And that pitch taken for a strike. The first strike of the ballgame here for the Oilers is now a 3-1 count on minor center fielder Madison Nickens. Here's the pitch. And a late call there by Tim Davis. He's calling balls and strikes behind the dish today. It is a full count. So far, Nickens still hasn't taken the bat off his shoulders. Here's the payoff. Swung on and fouled back to the backstop for Nickens. First full count here, top of the first. Season opener here for the Matsu Miners. on the road in Kenai, Alaska.
Junior from Gonzales, Los Angeles.
Once again, the payoff. Swung on and looped right there to the second baseman for out number 1. And up to the plate, the shortstop, Josh Bissonette here for the Miners. Long at bat there for Nickens. Like I said, took him 6 pitches before he takes the bat off his shoulders. So looks like Ben Taylor's club right from the get-go, showing a little bit of patience here. This is skipper Ben Taylor's 4th year at the helm here for the Matsu Miners. Past 3 seasons, Miners come in 2nd place.
Yeah, this season they're definitely looking to finish better than 2nd place within their last 3 years.
But first pitch taken in for a ball. So Bissonette, early on, of course, showing himself also a little bit of patience. Mentioned Tim Davis is calling balls and strikes behind the plate. It's Justin Phillips at first and Brad Polk at third. Here's the 1-0. And that's a strike. 1-1 that will even the count on Bissonette. He's batting here 2nd. Behind him, batting 3rd, is going to be the designated hitter, Josh Rowland. He's in the on-deck circle. There's the 1-1. Taken 2-1. A little low there, says Tim Davis. Southpaw on here in the mound for the Oilers seems to not necessarily be overpowering. And a touch wild early on. Falling behind to both the first 2 hitters. And that's a 2-1. Taken now 3-1. So once again, the Miners being very patient here. Madison Nickens leads off the game, runs the count full, but then a short pop to the second baseman for out number 1. Right now, Josh Bissonette digging in. It's 3-1 count on him. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted to left field, but the Oilers coming on, and he makes the out.
That was a good effort by the left fielder, Wang Su-sing. From Taiwan, actually. He made the shoestring catch right there, and that will bring up Josh Roulette, who was named to the freshman All-America team today out of Baylor University. So we would like to send our congratulations to Josh Roulette, as that is an incredible accomplishment, such a great list.
So tip of the cap to Josh Roulette, and he gets rewarded by being the DH today. Doesn't have to go out there on the field. He gets to chill in the dugout in between his at-bats. And here's the first pitch to him. And strike, says the umpire. It's 0-1. The first Miner today to fall behind the count.
Yeah, the Miners are definitely looking like they're playing very conservative at the plate.
Here's the 0-1, very low taken, 1-1. There's Josh Rowland.
And that's a good thing, too, because as of right now, Dom Bazzani is a little bit wild right now, so look up his pitch count early on.
1-1 swung, and that's going to be put into foul territory, and there's a souvenir for the fans. That's going to run the count to 1-2 on the freshman All-American Josh Roulette. 2 outs here for the Miners, nobody on the bags. 2 outs, no threats. Roulette's still digging in. Dom Bazzani so far, even though falling behind in the count of the first 2 batters, facing no threats. And says he's got him on the 1-2 pitch. That does it for the Miners. They go down in 3. Oilers played in the bottom half of the innings on your Matsu Miner Radio Network.
Good job.
Yeah, it's just tough on these boards. I'm looking at these papers. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Peninsula Oilers' own scoop is sponsored by Dr. Bob Letta at Community Health and Wellness. Their mission to improve the lives of others through education on nutrition and exercise lifestyles. Contact Community Health and Wellness at 953-0473. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the greatest, most loved mascot in Alaska Baseball League, Scoop!
Must be the only mascot, right? Yeah.
Maybe. So
Yeah. That's funny.
Not much.
That'd be funny if that's true.
Roulette is from Kansas State.
You serious?
It's okay though. I'm pretty sure nobody caught that. The only reason is because I wrote the press release, and so I wrote his name down, and I was like, I swore it was Kansas State. So
I don't
wanted
know
to
why I
double
was
check.
thinking Baylor. I'll be sure to correct that.
Yes. First we go. The Miners go 3-3 down in their half.
Ready?
Alex Seibert, Brian Rue, and
Welcome back here, Carol Seymour Memorial Park, where the Oilers are going to take their first at-bats of the season. Batting first for them is going to be Alex Seibert. We have Brian Rue in the at-bat circle, and first baseman Seth DeWitt in the hole.
Number 26.
Tyler Wyatt is manning the bump for the Matsu Miners today. He gets the first call of the season. Ben Taylor obviously showing a little bit of confidence in Tyler Wyatt, who from Grand Canyon last season pitched 59 2/3 innings with a 2-5 record and a 5.58 ERA. His first pitch here, strike, says Davis. That's 0-1. Something you're going to want to see here from the Miners pitchers is not falling behind in the count as Bazzini did in the first inning. Perhaps want to see him go on and attack. As here's pitch number 2, taken low, 1-1.
Alex Seibert, a 216 lifetime hitter.
Pretty nice day here at the ballpark. 65 degrees, the iPhone app is reading. So that's swung on there, 1-2. So Tyler Wyatt's still here in command of the count, the first batter, falling behind 1-2. Be good to start off this season, perhaps, with the first punch out. Here's the 1-2. And we'll get it. He gets him looking. Strikeout number 1 for the Matsu Miners. They're going to throw the ball around the horn, back to third, and over to Wyatt. And up to the plate comes Brian Rue, right fielder for the Oilers.
Yeah, good pitch sequence by Tyler Wyatt. First batter of the game, and recording the strikeout right there. But that's exactly what you'd like to see if you're the Matsu Miners. Getting ahead of the batters right away, and he just showed you right there why it's important to get ahead.
Absolutely. Here's the first pitch to Brian Rue, taken for a strike. So once again, Jordan, just as you referenced, attack, 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 not falling behind of these hitters. At least the first two, that is, here in the bottom of the first inning. The 0-1, that's taken 1-0. Brian Rue looking pretty big up there in the batter's box. Stands it at 6'1", 195, but looks a little bigger than that. 1-1 is swung on. 1-2. Tyler Wyatt, at least early on in somewhat of a groove, which is something you like to see. Typically, it takes pitchers a little bit, maybe an inning or two, to get in perfect rhythm, but seems to be doing just fine right now. The 1-2 swung on. That's going to be another souvenir into foul territory. Actually, out of the ballpark there. Not too much foul ground after it gets into those stands over there. So that's going to even the count here, 2-2. Wyatt with the 2-2 pitch. Oh, yeah, that's popped up looking at third base. And it's going to be yet another souvenir. Jonah Garrison and Josh Bissonette over there giving chase. Nothing to it. We're going to have ourselves another 2-2.
Yeah, Brian Rue doing a good job so far in fouling off these dirty pitches, which seem to be very difficult to hit. He has got to wait for his pitch, and that's all he's expected to do right now, just foul off those nasty pitches so he can stay alive in the count.
Sends it over, and that is a short nibbler right to the pitcher. Wyatt's going to take it himself over to first, and he got him. Touch of a delay call there by the umpire, but out he is indeed. First baseman Jake Scudder looked like he might have lost his glove there, did he perhaps?
Yeah, he lost his glove. It's actually on top of the base right now, so.
I guess that still counts it out. Ball on the base.
It does. If you had possession, it's right when you touch the bag, and you know the ball is still on top of the base, so it is an out. But yes, and it looks like he's all right. As Ben Taylor, the skipper for the Matsu Miners, came out briefly, but he insists that he's okay, so that's definitely a good sign to see right now. But that was an interesting play there. The pitcher took that instead of the catcher, Josh Roulette. And I said that Josh Roulette was from Baylor University, but I was mistaken. He's from Kansas State, so I apologize for that. And 2 outs for the Miners.
Still a freshman All-American, though. So here we go. Wyatt, and once again, 0-1 to Seth DeWitt. On the horn, if you're going from first to third for the Miners, it's Jake Scudder, AJ Lee, Josh Bissonette, and Jonah Garrison. In the outfield from left to right, Harrison Schwartz, Madison Nickens, and Cam Montgomery. The 0-1, right, 0-2 to first baseman Seth DeWitt.
Yeah, Wyatt's looking really good early on. I mean, he's not falling behind his hitters, unlike what Don Bazzani for the Oilers was doing this last half of the inning. So definitely great to see if you're the Miners.
The 0-2 swung out another little nibbler. That's going to go into foul territory. So back-to-back batters now, even when they're making contact, not great contact, just nibbling it right in front of home plate there. The last one, obviously, taken for an out. This one set DeWitt, though, he's just going to foul the 0-2 pitch off foul. Davis is going to toss that ball on over. Wyatt's going to get a new one. We're also going to have another 0-2 pitch. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. No others on. And the 0-2 from Wyatt. A little high over there by the beard of DeWitt. He's got a nice little Alaskan beard going, it seems like. 1-2. Quite a few fans here at the ballpark. The 1-2 swung out and he gets them. 2 strikeouts there in the inning for Wyatt. 1 looking, 1 swinging. And we're going to head to the top of the second inning. Both teams going down in order. You're listening to your Miners broadcast and your Matsu Miner Radio Network.
Snacks and trivia are available at the ticket booth at the main entrance, and the merchandise counter located at the end of the concession stand.
So now, okay, that's muted?
Yeah, it's muted.
Shit, okay. Who the hell? I should have got a piece of paper, wrote this down. Let's see here. So it's Scudder, right? Scudder's up.
Yeah, it's Jake Scudder, Garrison Schwartz, Cam Montgomery. That's the duo.
Schwartz, Mount.
Today, Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Okay.
He's got a change. He's got a 12-6 for basketball.
Basketball change.
Well, I'm not sure how much 12-6 it is,
That's
but he gestured that it was 12-6.
All right, ready?
Yep.
So throw it out.
Inning
Now heading for the
coming
Miners.
underway here in the season opener for the Matsu Miners
Jake Scudder
against the Peninsula Oilers. They went down in order in the top of the first, but hopefully a little bit something different here in the top of the second. As first baseman Jake Scudder leading it off, he stands in there, the batter's box on the left side. Here's the pitch. Taken 1-0. So once again, I know it is a little early on, folks, but Bazzini once again falling behind here. Fell behind in the first inning to the few batters he faced. Fell behind 1 patient hitters here the Miners are showing. And there's strike 1 that's going to even the count at 1-1. Jake Scudder, I believe, represents one of the few natural first basemen here on this Matsu Miner roster. So perhaps you could see him holding on the fort for the majority of the year this year at first base. The 1-1 taken for a strike. It's 1-2. Quite a few Oilers fans in the 2 here clapping some plastic Oiler souvenirs there, making a little noise here for the Oilers. And the 1-2 to Scudder. Low and outside, 2-2. Schwartz is in the on deck circle. Montgomery in the hole here for the Miners, hoping they can get something going. Miners decked out in their green tops, green socks, white pants, quite the look. 2-2, he got him swinging. Up comes Garrison Schwartz, left fielder.
Now batting for
It's
the
the
Miners.
second consecutive
Left
strikeout
fielder,
for Don Mazzani of the
Garrison
Oilers. So
Schwartz.
he's coming back right away. He struck out Joshua Lett to end the top half of the first inning, and right back here, striking out Scudder, and that brings up Garrison Schwartz.
Garrison Schwartz digs in from the left side of the box. We'll see what Bazzini has to offer him. Offering him a strike at the knees, says Davis. 0-1. Schwartz playing left field today for the Miners. The 0-1 swung out, a little nibbler, but that's going to roll foul. So nothing to it, just an 0-2 count. Schwartz hit .476 with 14 doubles, 2 home runs, and 22 RBIs as a senior en route. AZBC first team All-State, first team All-Selection, Jordan.
Yeah, it's definitely a great accolade for Schwartz for sure. But you know, he's now down to count. It's rare so far as of today for a Miner to be down to count, but he's going to be looking, you know, to stay alive in this bat, to foul off some pitches, and you know, maybe get a base hit right here.
We'll see what he can do. 0-2, but he's not chasing. Fish aren't biting. Outside 1-2. Good to see that even when Miner hitter falls behind 0-2, they're not necessarily chasing. Still staying patient and composed at the plate. Here's the 1-2. And once again, outside, says Davis. That's going to even the count at 2.
That's a nasty curveball by Bazzani. That could bring up a few Miners hitters here this afternoon. So far, the count's at 2. But so far, a good eye by Garrison Schwartz at the plate.
We'll see what he goes to. The 2-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Bazzini's going to come on here in the top of the second inning and get himself back-to-back strikeouts.
Number 16.
And here comes the right fielder for the
Montgomery.
Montgomery. And hitters, maybe he might have learned something as they go down with the strikeout.
Actually, the last 3 hitters dating back to the last half of the inning as well.
So let's see what we have to offer him. Montgomery. That's taken for strike, just catches the outside part of the plate. 0-1. So perhaps Mr. Bazzini here finding a little bit of a rhythm. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Montgomery looking pitch. Perhaps just a little anxious in his first at bat here for the Matsu Miners. He digs in. Here's the pitch. The second base, that's Andrew Bash picking it, getting rid of it over to Seth DeWitt, and that's going to put the Miners down in order. For the first 2 innings, they're 6 up, 6 down. When we come back, it is going to be fight against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters of the Oilers here on the Matsu Miner Radio Network.
For just $2. Bring your little ones down and let them bounce off some energy.
The mics are on.
They aren't off.
Yeah, I was just about to tell you, that wasn't off
Check
for
out the
whatever
Peninsula
reason.
Oilers on the web for
weren't off
terrific
in
team
the
info, stats, standings,
so-
photos, history, and merchandise.
I don't know.
Visit us at
I'm just
www.oilersbaseball.com.
pulling
Also check us out on Facebook.
The mics aren't off in between.
and I've done that every single one.
They should be. They're completely down. That should have muted them. And I mean, the airwaves are down, so we don't hear anything through here. Right?
Let's just keep it clean always.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So let's see. It's 4, 5, 6 for them, right?
it is 4, 5, 6, yeah.
Now batting for the Oilers. Left fielder from
To the bottom of the second we go here at Kiro Seymour Memorial Park, where there was no score between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Up here now is Wong Susung here for the Oilers. He's digging in here over here in the left batter's box. Pitch from Wyatt. taking on the outside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, Wang Shishang, one of the two Taiwanese players for the Oilers this season.
And pitch, taken 1-1. Jeff Shepard, the shortstop, in the on-deck circle, and catcher Cameron Miller, he's going to be in the hole. 1-1. Fouled off, 1-2. Still a little bit of noise being made here by the Oilers faithful. Trying to maybe rally up. Hopefully they can get on base, or for the Miners' sake. The one. Here's the pitch. Swung out and fouled. Daly puts his hands up and just backs up to get away from that one. Quite composed for somebody who had a ball rocketed right at him.
Yeah, it was a bullet right off the end of the bat there, but now he's going to be looking to, straighten it out, obviously, and put this ball in play.
The 1-2. Straighten it out. He does not. He sends it right to the backstop. And the battle continues before Shisung and Tyler Wyatt. Wyatt retiring the first three Oilers in order last inning. 1-2 taken low. It's 2-2.
It looks like it's a good breaking ball today from Tyler Wyatt, so it's definitely looking like it has a lot of cut to it.
Taken high, 3-2. And the count runs full here. First full count of the day for Wyatt. We'll see what he does with it. 3-2. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. And here we go again. Not too much having to be done here by the Miners' defense thus far, but still very early in the second inning, no score between Oilers and the Matsu Miners. Wyatt's pitch, swung on and missed, strike three, and Shisung's going to take his back to his helmet there in frustration. Swinging that ball four, he did.
Yeah, that's strikeout number 3 for Tyler Wyatt of the Miners this evening. 3 of his first 4 batters are all strikeouts, or most of them being strikeouts. So he's definitely looking good.
First pitch taken by Jeff Shepard, the shortstop. Swing and a miss. Swung all the way out of the batter's box on that one.
Yeah, the Oilers are swinging and missing a lot here this evening, so that's definitely a good sign. But they're going to have to fix it. Is that called a ball?
2-1. White is doing a good job keeping them off balance here early on. As the game progresses, the 2-1. Swung on and lifted to left. Pearson Schwartz giving it chase. And foul. Nothing but a long strike. 2-2.
Yeah, it had the distance, but it was not fair.
Looked like it might have run over that RB sign, which is just left of the foul pole there in left field. The 2-2. That one just flooped up. Wyatt's going to be on the mound. He's calling himself. Takes it. That's out number 2. 5 up, 5 down so far for Tyler Wyatt. And even when they put the ball in play, he's taking it himself.
From Baylor University, number 14, Cameron
So here's the catcher, Cameron Miller, for the Oilers. Looking to see if he could probably get something off Wyatt. Another left-handed bat here, facing Wyatt. So far, so good. The pitch. Taken for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Miller is an undecided major at Baylor University this season. He appeared in 19 games, starting 5 of them, in which he hit 161 with 4 RBIs.
That ball lifted, and it's going to split the gap there in right center field. Off to second goes Miller. He should get there. Standing up. Yes, he does. It is the very first hit of the ball game.
All right,
A
fans.
stand-up double for
time.
catcher Cameron Miller. And the Oilers got a little something brewing here in the bottom of the second. 1 on, 2 out. That's going to bring second baseman Andrew Bash
Now
up to the plate.
for your Peninsula Oilers. Second
It is going to be the
baseman.
first time for White.
Cal Baptist University.
Down stretch.
Number 8, Andrew Bash.
So from the set will come Wyatt. Runner on second, not that big of a lead by Miller. Second baseman AJ Lee holds him on. Now he goes to his natural position, and that's strike one. Figure all White has to do here is take care of the batter, and no damage will be done for that 2-out stand. Starts off strong here, 0-1. And from the setting, fouled right behind the press box here, 0-2. Hopefully he doesn't hit any spectators walking alongside over into their seats. Just on the strike here, 0-2.
This is where Wyatt's been on his A game at the beginning of this game so far. He's ahead of the hitter, and that usually ends great for the Miners.
Will it end great yet again? The 0-2 swung on and missed. Jordan, you called it. And that stand-up double, nothing to it by Cameron Miller. 0-0 here as we head to the top of the third between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers on your Matsu Miner Radio Network. Top of the third inning here for the Matsu Miners against the Peninsula Oilers. They have the bottom of the order of Jonah Garrison, Troy Squires, and AJ Lee. Seems like the fans just finished up some kind of a costume sumo wrestling race there in between innings. Taking a strike to Jonah Garrison. Still no blood drawn here between the Miners and the Oilers. 0 here in the top of the third. Miners looking for the first base runner. You get here on the 0-1 pitch. Garrison takes 0-2. So behind the count goes Garrison, at least still showing patience at the plate. Once more. Taking a lot of pitches here, perhaps, as my father would like to say.
The two South Florida and Kim Captain on this as a junior in high school, that is, hitting 380 with 19 RBIs.
Taken 2-2. So he goes down 0-2. Back even now to 2-2.
And that's where you really can judge a batter and his patience. If you're down the count by that much and you can work it up, that's definitely good things to come.
And he works it out all the way to a full count, 3-2. Down 0-2 goes Joni Garrison to start off this inning. 3-2. And what do we have here? Do we get our base on balls? Do we get a hit? What are we doing here? Get our first base runner for the Miners. He's going to go back to the dugout. Swing and a miss. And to the dugout he will head. Another strikeout.
Now Mazzini. Catcher, number 26.
Fourth strikeout.
Troy Squires.
And that brings up Troy Squires as a catcher for the Miners. And an interesting note, if you haven't seen the pregame profile that that I did yesterday with Troy Squires, it is on there. And things mentioned was that he was not a catcher before college. So he's kind of relatively new, learning the ropes.
That's right. He's ahead of the count here. 1-0. I believe in that pregame profile, he stated, Jordan, that he's only been playing catcher for about a year or so.
Yeah, that's right. He was like a middle fielder, second.
The count now. 2 Squires. It'd be interesting to see if a lot of teams around the league test his arm there behind the dish, as still somewhat you would think getting acclimated, to that catcher position. Once again, only playing it for about a year so far. A little bit of chin music there. 2-1. It was his grandfather played in the White Sox organization, did he?
That's right. Yeah, he played in the White Sox organization, and he said he really looks up to his grandfather. So that's one of his role models, and it's definitely great to see. And you would expect nothing.
And now he's going to chop it over to the shortstop, who bobbles it. And safe is Troy Squires for the first Matsu Minor base runner of the day.
I believe that the shortstop had to come in and that one, but we'll know the official ruling in a little bit. But that is a play that he should have came up with and made.
AJ
Jordan, I will definitely agree with that analysis, but we are still waiting on the word as AJ Lee digs in, the number 9 hitter.
It was official. It is an E6.
E6. Jordan calls it like he sees it. AJ Lee, the number 9 man, also from Maryland. I believe with Madison Nickens on the same flight, the Maryland boys.
That's right. Madison Nickens and AJ Lee are the 2 Maryland players. We got a lot of players who were teammates in college this year, and of course there's a couple that that came by themselves, but it's always nice to see having somebody familiar with.
And the 1-0 taken, 1-1. AJ Lee showed bunt on that first pitch, brought it back, 1-0, and now takes this one 1-1. On first base is Troy Squires. He reached on an E6. Still a nothing ball game here. First, Mazzini's going to toss it on over to first, but nothing going there. Just a quick walk back to the bag by Troy Squires. As a catcher, not sure if he's one who has a pretty quick motor, but you never know. Speed over there at first, and the 1-1. 1-2. Is back. Bit of a gap there in left center field, and the left fielder playing very shallow. She sung out there, very shallow in left field. Perhaps AJ Lee can drill it right over the head there, just pull the ball. You would think that would maybe get runners to second and third. So perhaps they don't think AJ Lee can power it on over to left field. Maybe he should make him pay for it, perhaps, but we'll see what he does. It's the 2-2. Swung in and chopped. Off his foot, I believe the umpire is saying, so foul ball. If it was off his foot, AJ Lee's quite the tough one. Shows no sign of distress or pain. Walks it off a little bit. He's going to undo the gloves, tighten them back up. Jump on back into the batter's box in a bit. 1 man on. First base runner reached on an air for the Miners, breaking up Mazzini's perfect game here in the third inning he had going early on. But he still has a no-hitter intact. Perhaps AJ Lee will break that up right now here in the third. Swing. Taking down the first base line, but wow. Sir, now we're going to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's very interesting to note that it's not just the left fielder who's in it. It looks like all three outfielders are playing relatively shallow. So, you know, a nice hard hit, the extra bases and more for them.
Yes, playing shallow in right, Speak shallow in center. She sung super shallow in left, and once again that gap in left center field. Chops it over to first. Foul. Seems like it's hitting the ball away. Perhaps that's the way they're pitching him because there is that gap. Maybe trying to tempt him to overdo the ball, but nothing to it. 2-2. AJ Lee so far with a good at-bat here. And he's going to take it right down the middle for strike 3. You can see he was a little upset with himself. He knew he had a cookie right there. He couldn't do anything with it. And now it's the 9th.
The strikeouts keep on raking here. The save score, plenty of the Oilers, and for Tyler Wyatt is 4 as well. And to complete the bottom half of this 3rd inning, too. So both pitchers are raking up strikeouts early on.
The board and the leadoff man is at the plate. Troy Squires is on first. Nickens is going to ground it on over to second, who flips it over to the shortstop for a 4-6 ground out right there. We're going to head to the bottom of the 3rd. No blood drawn. It's still 0-0 between the Peninsula Oilers on your Matsu Minor Radio Network. Tyler Wyatt completing his warm-up tosses here in the 3rd inning. Coral Park. He's going to head on up to the plate and lead off this bottom of the 3rd inning for the Peninsula Oilers. No score here between the Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. Speak sending in. And here's the pitch from Wyatt. Low and outside, ball 1. 1-0 to center fielder Daniel Speak of the Oilers. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Taken low. 2-0. Oilers decked out in the black jerseys with red numbers and font there, it seems. Black socks and the white pants. Red batting caps. And Wyatt a little wild here early on here in the bottom of the 3rd. 3 straight pitches outside, missing the plate. Falls behind 3-0 to Daniel Speak. He's able to get no, says the umpire. That's ball 4. And Speak's going to earn himself a jog on down to the first base bag. And as he jogs on down, that brings up the designated hitter, Jake Darrow. So that is the 2nd Oiler base runner of the day. Cameron Miller with a 2-out stand-up double last inning. And Daniel Speak is going to draw the leadoff walk here in the bottom of the third. Jake Darrow digging in. High and outside once again from Wyatt. And out comes pitching coach Greeley. Looks like he's going to have a little chit-chat on the mound with a battery of Wyatt and Squires.
Yeah, Tyler Wyatt has been cruising pretty much through this entire game. Off hitter, he walked Speak on 4 straight, and he's already behind 1-0 on Jake Darrow right now. So I mean, it's a Matt Greeley just wants to go out there and talk with him, settle him down a little bit, and get him back to his normal self.
So Greeley and Squires are going to head back to their respective spots. Greeley to the dugout, Squires behind the plate. And as you mentioned, Jordan, a little something different here from Wyatt in the bottom of the third as opposed to the first 2 innings. Not only falling behind, but locating those pitches well outside. He's not just missing, but missing line. There's a attempted bunt, but that's just going to go foul by the number 9 hitter, Jake Darrow.
Yeah, it was a good idea. I mean, Jonah Garrison was playing a little bit deeper than you would normally at the third base position, but now he's on the cut of the grass here and see if the sign is still on for the Oilers.
The 1-1 here to Darrow, who, nope. Wyatt's going to go over to first, but nothing to it there. As Daniel Speak slides in safely. Interesting to see what the strategy is here. And Darrow on the 1-1 pitch. Will he take? The answer to that question is no. He's going to lift that to the stands in left field. 1-2. Back to first. And Wyatt now ahead of the count.
Yeah, Jake Darrow from Sterling, Alaska. He plays college ball over in eastern Utah.
So after Greeley's mound visit, no balls thrown by Wyatt as he's up 1-2. There's the pitch. And that's just going to be taken once again out of play.
Protection swing there. He wasn't really sure what he wanted to do with it. And you got to make up your mind. And sometimes it's not that easy, and you get caught in the middle of things there, and that's exactly what happened there. But he stays alive, and that's what you need to ask for. He didn't strike out, and he's living to see another day.
Stays alive in the count he does, and he will see at least one more pitch here, but just not yet as Wyatt throws it over to first. That's the second time he's thrown over, checking Daniel Speak there. The center fielder for the Oilers, so you would guess has a little bit of speed if he's going to be playing out there in center. So smart idea by Wyatt just to hold him on, and he throws it over again. Safe.
Wyatt's had a pretty good move so far today. Not many runners on, but he's been close to throwing out Speak over at first base a couple of times. See what's going on here.
Keep Speak honest at first, and the 1-2, it's a ground ball and a double play for the Miners. So the leadoff walk to Speak falls behind 1-0 to Jake Darrow. Out comes Greeley, and then a double play. Settles him down a little bit perhaps. 4-6-3 double play there. Lee to Bissonette, out over to Scudder. Here in the bottom of the third. Nobody on.
Yeah, that's a pitcher's best friend right there. A 4-6-3 double play after the leadoff batter walked on 4 straight pitches. So that's definitely great to see for Tyler Wyatt and the Miners.
That pitch there ricocheting all around the backstop. 0-1. And you hit the nail on the head there, Jordan. Wyatt definitely getting a pitcher's best friend. Nobody on now. There's 2 outs. And he's ahead of the count 0-2. So after the leadoff walk, things looking not necessarily best case scenario for the Miners, but one more pitch here perhaps could send us to the top of the 4th. If Wyatt wants to get him, slapped over to first. Scudder's going to grab it. Jog on over to first himself. He gives a little glove pump, They're going to head on over to the dugout, and when we come back here at Coral Seymour Memorial Park, we're going to have the top of the fourth inning. It's the Miners nothing for the Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Now batting for the Miners, shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
Top of the fourth inning here at Carol Seymour Memorial Park. Shortstop Josh Bissonette digging in. He's going to lead off this top of the fourth inning for the Matsu Miners. Josh Roulette is in the on-deck circle. And first baseman Jake Scudder, he's in the hole. Here's the pitch. Taken low, 1-0 to Josh Bissonette.
Yeah, Bissonette flew out to the left field there, if you recall. The left fielder made the shoestring catch out there and retired Bissonette in the first inning.
Bissonette shows bunt, and it's going to be a strike as he doesn't make any contact with it. Bissonette was part of that double play combo, crucial double play combo inning after giving up that leadoff walk. See if he can be as vital here on the offensive side of things. Not yet, at least. It's 1-2. And one thing we have noticed here early on, we've been mentioning throughout the whole broadcast, not only patience, but very, very low aggression so far by these Miners hitters, but that's not necessarily a bad thing as the 1-2 taken outside 2-2.
Right, and at the beginning, it was very smart because their pitcher was falling behind, but he seemed to be settling into a groove. So now you might see the Miners become a little bit more aggressive.
The 2-2 outside, actually off the glove of Miller, trickles to the backstop. He gets it. 3-2 though, nobody on. Still a scoreless game here at Coral Seymour Memorial Park in Kenai, Alaska.
The Miners still looking for their first base hit of the afternoon.
We'll see if Bissonette could be the product of that first base hit. It's a 3-2. Swung on and missed. Ball's in the dirt. Bissonette's going to give it a run to first. But nothing to it. He's out. Back to the dugout. He will go. It's going to be the third hitter, Josh Roulette, the DH.
And Roulette looking to end the top half of the first inning here. And like I mentioned a batter ago, Miners still looking for their they had Squires reach base via an error in the last half of the inning.
Looking for their first hit indeed, but this is the second time around as that ball is drilled to center field. But they got a man right there, Speak, showing a little bit of that speed, even though he only had to give that one a slight jog, heading over to his right. Down for the Miners here at the top of the fourth inning. And that's going to bring the number 4 hitter, Jake Scudder, to the plate from Kansas State. He's from Rock Island, Illinois, though. Kinesiology major, science. So perhaps if my plan and workout isn't going as well, maybe I can ask him for some tips later on in the season. He is a Big 12 newcomer of the year, and he hit .336, 40 RBIs. in 55 games last season. The first baseman from Kansas State. The 1-0. The plate. Low, but Scudder with a good grab last inning. Makes the final last inning. Maybe they'll make the first hit this inning. 1. So Mazzini once again on the mound, not necessarily overpowering, at times locating well enough, though, to get these Miners hitters out, keeping them at bay. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Miners offensively through 3 2/3 of an inning. Offensively, not shown too much of a threat. Nobody on base here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. It's the 2-2 pitch. Scudder takes low, 3-2. He's going to step out of the box, readjust the gloves, readjust his right sleeve, step on in, and get prepared for the payoff. He got to come for the payoff. Here it is. Swing, and there you go, Jordan. That's the first hit of the game for the Miners. What do you know? Jake Scudder, the first baseman, reaching first base. 2-out hit. First Miners hit. And that is going to bring number 5 hit, Garrison Schwartz, to the plate. See if he can keep this 2-out rally going. The 2-8 Scudder just started a couple seconds ago. Mazzini with the delivery. And that's going to go all the way to the backstop. Second place, Scudder will take, walking on in, makes a turn. He's not heading to third, though. He'll walk right back to second. With a man in scoring position. Man in scoring position, and 1-0, it's going to be to Garrison Schwartz.
And it's in the middle of the Miners' order, too, so that's exactly where you want to be. Garrison Schwartz, he hit .476 this past season with runs and 22 RBIs. Well, actually, it was as a senior, so it was 2 seasons ago for his high school.
We'll see what he does here. He'll take this one 1-1 now. Evens the count. Scudder's going to retreat back to second. Now take another lead. And Mazzini not having to pitch from the set too much. We'll see if that throws him off just a little bit here to left-handed hitting Garrison Schwartz. The 1-1. Drilled to the backstop, out of play.
Brought to you by Coach Dan Gensel. The note about Schwartz is that during his freshman year at Grand Canyon, he led his team in doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, and walks.
What a good eye, and can hit for power, for bases. We'll see what he gets here. It's the 1-1 with 2 outs, and Jake Scudder on second. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, that is. Schwarber read 1-1, but it was a 1-2 count. So the Miners get their first hit. Jake Scudder, he advances to second on a wild pitch, but they're going to leave him there stranded. We're going to head to the bottom of the 4th with the score still. Miners 0, Peninsula Oilers 0 on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. And the Matsu Miners season opener against the Peninsula Oilers heads to the bottom of the fourth inning scoreless. And right fielder Brian Ruin is going to lead it off here for the Oilers in the bottom of the fourth. Tyler Wyatt so far keeping them at bay. Here's the pitch. Checked. Strike says Davis, 0-1.
Yeah, Rim grounded out from the pitcher his first time up.
Ground out the first time up. What's it going to be the second time up? The 0-1. High, 1-1. Tyler Wyatt so far not getting into much trouble. Had the leadoff walk last inning in the third. That's just about it. Then you got the tailor-made double play. Not too much showing for the Oilers offense besides that. But at least early on here in the bottom of the fourth inning, the 2-1. Swung on and fouled, 2-2.
That foul ball brought to you by Christy Babcock State Farm.
Those Oilers with an Alaskan type beard. And that's inside, 3-2. Patient is room. He's looking to get to at least first.
Yeah, this season for Cal Baptist, he started 31 games, played in 46, and he hit .307 with 25 RBIs in that one.
The 3-2, he got him swinging. Room heads back to the dugout. He'll think about maybe try to fix it next time up. Right now, he's just strikeout victim for Wyatt. And that's going to bring a first baseman, Seth DeWitt, to the plate.
Yeah, strikeout victim number 5 is Brian Room.
Strikeout victim number 5 he is. So if I can do my math correct, that's so far more than one inning as we are in the bottom of the fourth. So good showing here by Wyatt. And he's going to go ahead in the count here. To DeWitt, 0-1. DeWitt steps out, takes a look at Wyatt.
DeWitt was strikeout victim number 1 earlier in the first inning.
And I was going to slam that just bare little duck snoring over there in a single. So a blue pit right in front of Garrison Schwartz and left. Actually split Jonah Garrison and Garrison Schwartz.
Peninsula Oilers, left fielders from National Taiwan
Oilers got
University,
a one-out single.
number 29, Wang Shisheng.
And that's going to bring the cleanup man, Wang Shisheng, up to the plate. Let's see if perhaps Wyatt can get another one of those tailor-made 4-6-3 double plays, perhaps. Get us right out of this bottom of the fourth. The pitch. Says Davis, 0-1. Seth DeWitt with a small lead at first. He just reached on a single. Missed, 0-2. Wang Shisheng. One of the two. The 0-2 pitch. Take it outside, 1-2. DeWitt's going to head on back to first. Chat a little bit with the first base coach. Take his lead. And the 1-2 to come shortly. But just not yet, as Wyatt holding him on. Notice that from Wyatt, anytime there is a base runner on, whether he seems to be a speedy runner or not, he is keeping him honest, making the Oilers know that he is paying attention. And there's another throw over, speaking of, but safe, as DeWitt slides on in.
Yeah, DeWitt has a decent lead. He's not too close to the bag, but he's not too far off either. But it is the perfect lead to fool a pitcher.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. So strikeout, no, foul ball. And he's going to head on back to the batter's box. And Dave's little chat up. He heads back to the mound. Do some cleaning duties of home plate. And here we go again with the 1-2. From the set. And there's another blooper right in front of Garrison Schwartz in left field. So make that 2 bloop singles right in front of Garrison Schwartz to left field. And that puts 2 Oiler base runners on. First and second, 1 out here for the Oilers, and that's going to bring up shortstop
Jeff
Chapron. He's at the plate here with 1 out. Runners on first and second for the Oilers. A little bit of a minor threat here in the bottom of the 4th. Chapron digs in. Interesting to see his approach here with 2 runners on. From the set, White. Taken 1-0. Like to see White come right back here with the strike. Do not want to fall behind 2-0. First and second here and 1 out in the bottom of the 4th for the Oilers. Still scoreless here in the season opener between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. The 1-0 swung out and missed, and that's going to even up the count at 1 apiece.
Yeah, this is the second time the Oilers have had a runner in scoring position this evening. First time came back in the bottom half of the 2nd inning, and Wyatt came up with a strikeout of his own. So we'll see what he comes up with here. Double play still intact.
2 bloop singles to left field. Put them on first and second for the Oilers. And Wyatt now behind the count 2-1. We'll see what he can do here. No throw over to second, but he is going to chase him on back to the bag. Once again, keeping these Oilers base runners honest. I take it Wyatt not a fan of any tricky business there on the base paths. Here's the 2-1. Taken for strike 2. 2-2. Wyatt can throw the strikeout as it is a 2-2 count here. Thrown over a handful already today in the bottom of the 4th. Wouldn't surprise me if you do another one. Perhaps. Be pretty glad if you do another one. Here's the 2-2 with 1 out. Taking a right field. Cam Montgomery giving a chase. He's there into shallow right. Tossed on back into the infield. To Lee. Over to Bissonette.
Peninsula Oilers.
And he'll hold it down. Tossed on back to Wyatt.
University. Number 14.
And it's now 2 outs.
Cameron
with 2
Miller.
It's going to bring up catcher Cameron Miller.
And Miller doubled into the right field gap his first time up. That was the lone runner in scoring position prior to this inning for the Oilers.
Miller with that stand-up double, as Jordan is alluding to. Hopefully, Wyatt can keep him off the base paths here, send him right back into the dugout, and we go to the top of the 5th. But not before throw over it, he's got him. Got him at second. Good throw and good. And it doesn't matter what happens to the batter here. We're going to see him in the top of the 5th, bottom of the 5th, rather. Miner's going to go to the top of the 5th. This game still scoreless. The Matsu Miners Radio Network. And so here we are in the top of the fifth inning. Miners opening up this season on the road. We are still scoreless here. And that brings Cam Montgomery, the right fielder, to the plate. First pitch swung on, taking a right. Brian Room giving it a little bit of chase in foul territory. First pitch swinging, and an out there.
Looked like Room had a lot of room out there. Right
Now
now,
batting for the
unintended, I
Miners.
guess.
Did it?
Third baseman,
That was
number
mine.
7,
I had to
Jonah
attempt at a
Garrison.
drum roll cymbal cling.
Sorry, it was my bad attempt at making a pun there.
It was all right. At the end of the day, that's just going to bring up the man who mans the hot corner, Jonah Garrison, up to the plate. A little aggressive their approach by Cam Montgomery. Says he's going to start off this fifth inning, first pitch swinging. Not necessarily the worst approach, but it's out number 1. And Garrison now behind the count 0-1.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Miners really go at the first pitch yet. They've been very patient.
Swung out and missed, strike 2 for the third baseman, Jonah Garrison. Garrison also with a little bit of a aggressive type of approach here at the plate. Perhaps they just want to get something going. They've been patient the first 4 innings. Now swinging the lumber, but that pitch is taken. Not controlled by Miller, but it's okay. Nobody's on. So it's just going to be a ball, 1-2. No score here once again. Nobody on. 1 out between the Miners and the Oilers. Alaska. The 1-2. He's taken 2-2. Ball in the dirt. Jonah Harrison not biting. Fish haven't been biting much as far as the Miners hitters go. And the 2-2. Taken, but for strike 3. Garrison's going to head on back to the bench. And that makes it 2 outs for the Miners.
Catcher,
Yeah,
number
beautiful
26,
breaking ball by
Roy
Zani there.
Squires.
He's had a pretty good breaking ball so far here this evening as he's raked up his 6th.
Up catcher Troy Squires, who, as we mentioned earlier, the very first in profile. So we thank him for being a part of that, getting to know a little bit about himself. And as the season goes on, we'll begin to know a little more about the rest of the team.
Garrison's actually victim number 7, not 6.
The 1-0. 1-1 taken. Squires the catcher. Ready there at the plate. Bazzini the pitcher. He's ready at the mound. The 1-1. Low. 2-1. Looking to perhaps start one of those 2-out rallies here would be a little nice. Perhaps Squires could give it a start. That ball's taken to third, but just a little bloop handled easily. And that's going to bring us to the bottom of the 5th here in Kenai, Alaska. You're listening to this broadcast on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. So Cameron Miller here to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. The Oilers. Scoreless here between the Miners and the Oilers. Looking to see what happens here. White with the pitch. 1-0.
Cameron Miller coming back to the dish this time around, as he was up to bat at the end of last inning where the runner at second base got picked off. So he's back up again since he was never officially retired.
That's right. We were thinking maybe Wyatt could punch him out to end that threat. No need to it. He's just going to throw it over to second. And Bissonnette got him with a good tag. We said he was keeping the base runners honest all game. And then he's going to get one out. So there you go. The 0-2 pitch. Take it high. 1-2. The 1-2 swung out right back to White. He's going to field it himself. Over to Scudder at first. And Scudder's going to play catch with the boys around the infield for out number 1.
Now batting for your Peninsula Oilers, second baseman.
And summer is the perfect opportunity to work on your golf game. The Palmer Golf Course is located right in the heart. Just Herman 745-4653 for more information on the Palmer Golf Course. You call them for more information, but don't call me for advice on how to get a better swing.
Not much of a golfer?
I try, but pretty poor game, I must say so myself. As first pitch taken here, 0-1. White up in the count, bottom of the 5th inning. Scoreless in the seat. Swap 0-2, and if there wasn't a net or a piece of glass, he took one right to the skull. Luckily, there was extra protection.
That's right. Not just the net, but we got this, bit of glass right in front of us. I don't think it's break proof. Pretty sure if it would have gotten through the net, it would have gotten through here too.
That one's going to go all the way to the backstop. 1-2. Chance there by Squires. Maybe he could have made an attempt, but with no runners on, why bother? It's 1-2. Just stays in this crouch. Here is on. Big gap there in left center field. The pitch. And fouled back once again.
That foul ball brought to you by ConocoPhillips, Alaska.
So the 1-2 here with one out. Fans moving in and about the ballpark here. Inside, near 2-2.
By Squires to get down to his knees and block that ball from getting past him.
Back in my Little League days, my coach would have been yelling to take one for the team. But take one for the team, he does not, and it's 2-2.
That's right, even though there were no – it's always smart to do that.
2-2, chopped towards third, but that's going to be a foul ball. And Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry is a beautiful, brand new, state-of-the-art dental office and friendly and convenient. Palmer, especially designed for children. Your child's comfort and safety is their top priority. Check them out online at matsumoose.com. 745-KIDS. That's 745-5437. Need a little bit of a dental checkup myself. Been a fan of one too many Snicker bars as of late. Bills for me.
So I take it Snickers is your go-to candy bar?
That is the go-to, my friend. Either that or the Reese's. So if your kids have been having any bit of that at home, Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry, not only beautiful, but quite the place for the kiddos. The 2-2 pitch here with one out. Lifted in a short center. Check that. That's second, A.J. Lee. He's going to make a very short jog to the outfield. He grabs it. Tells his men out there in the outfield that he's got no range to cover that small amount of ground. And it's going to bring up the right fielder, Speak. Coming up to, it sounds like Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas.
You are certainly correct there.
Master of 80s music I tend to be sometimes. Call me the guru. That is slapped to left field, but It's going to be a foul ball. Garrison Schwartz giving it a little bit of chase. Now he's just going to get his exercise in and jog right back. Now he's doing a sidestep over there in left field. Looks like we have Jonah Garrison playing in, almost at the cut of the grass at third. Rest of the infield at regular depth. Over to center field, Madison giving the chase. Oh! Bissonette heads out there, dives for it, can't come up with it. What an effort by Bissonette.
Yeah, it was a very tough play.
Now batting for your
Bissonette running straight back. It was just a very great place
Eastern Utah,
by
number 5, Jake.
I almost thought he was going to try to breeze on in. Didn't have much of a good read of the ball. Then out of nowhere, Bissonette showed me exactly where it was, extending out toward the outfielder and just off the tip of the glove.
Yeah, he had a good jump, but I mean, it's a very difficult play. He would have just gotten there in the nick of time, and you literally can't mess anything up, and you have to be perfect there. But nonetheless, it was a very great effort there.
Stellar over-the-shoulder catches. Instead, it's a bloop single, and it's going to get a man on for the Oilers. Still scoreless here in the bottom of the fifth. Grounded over to A.J. Lee. He's going to send it over to Scudder, and guess what? That ends that little threat, too. So that brings us all the way now to the top of the sixth, still scoreless in the season opener between the Matsu Miners and Peninsula Oilers on your Matsu Miner Radio Network.
Alicia with another exciting game.
Here in the top of the sixth inning between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. And before the first pitch here in the top of the sixth, we just want to remind you that if your car needs a new taillight or just some sort of nut, bolt, or screw, be sure to visit the Valley's locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts. They're in Big Lake, Palmer, and Wasilla. You can visit www.napaalaska.com. And it seemed like was that a kid race there we had just before?
Yeah, some kind of twirling of the bat, down the first base.
Is that what they were doing? Get a little dizzy down there?
That's right. You got to make it a little bit dizzy to make the race a little bit interesting. I don't know who won the race, but
interesting and good luck. Having fun here out at the ballpark, Carol Seymour Memorial Park to be correct, where once again it is that season opener between the Miners and the Oilers. Season opener that is still scoreless here in the top of the sixth inning. The ninth hitter, A.J. Lee, leading off. And then we're going to go back to the top of the order with Madison Nickens and shortstop Josh Bissonette. A.J. Lee digging in. He's got a 1-0 count. Scoreless here in Kenai, Alaska. Still looking for a little bit of action. The southpaw delivers, but it's all the way back to the backstop, 1-1.
AJ Lee has been up one other time this game, and that one at bat was a strikeout for him.
Don Barzini and Tyler Wyatt of the Miners doing their job to keep the offense off the scoreboards. It is the sixth inning. Will it change now? The 1-1 pitch, high 2-1. And then Miller grabs it high, and he tells Davis that he wants to go have a little conversation there with Bazzini, who was a little wild on that last pitch. Sure, they're talking, or at least trying to settle him down. Either that or they're going over dinner plans. Regardless, A.J. Lee has a little time to step out of the batter's box, collect his thoughts. A few practice swings over there for him. He'll undo the gloves, redo them again, head on back to the batter's box. Once again, they count 2-1. Nobody on here. Fresh start to the top of the 6th inning for the Miners against the Oilers. Taken 2-2. Speed here. If the Miners could get their first 2 men on here with number 9 hitter AJ Lee and then Madison Nickens, quite some good speed there in the 9-1 spot. Could pose a good threat if they get on. The 2-2 pitch taken low, full count.
Yeah, a lot of Miners so far have taken a lot of pitches, so they're working up the pitch count on
Status quo all the way up here into the top of the 6th inning. It's the 3-2 payoff. Swung on and lifted. That's going to go toward the stands. And how's about a souvenir for one of them?
Ball brought to you by the Oilers Booster Club.
Perhaps one of the kids who won the Tilter World game or whatever that was early on. Perhaps they'll be get themselves a souvenir there.
Yeah, it'd be a couple wins in one day. Can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that, my friend. Hopefully the Miners can get 1 win in one day. They're going to need a little bit of offense to get that going. AJ Lee looking in, but then calls for time. Going to step on out, recollect his thoughts. He's got the 3-2 pitch coming his way as soon as he steps back in. Step back in he does. And here's the 3-2. High, and it's the leadoff walk. AJ Lee gets on, and that's going to bring the leadoff man, Madison Nickens, to the plate.
Now batting for the Miners.
So AJ Lee
Center fielder.
has
Number
speed at
12,
first. At least he's shown
Madison
speed during the
Nickens.
warm-ups for the Matsu Miners. Nickens, the leadoff man. You assume he possesses a little bit of speed himself. Perhaps we can get a little rally in the top of the 6th inning scoreless.
Yeah, this is just the third base runner for the Miners this evening. So the Miners, with their leadoff batter on base, they're looking to bring home AJ Lee.
Throw over to first. Going to have a little chat with Perez, the first base coach. He's telling him what he would like to see from Lee. Lee nods, takes his lead, and here's the pitch. Nickens shows bunt, fouls it off. Interesting to see if he could get that bunt down. Alex Seifert, who mans the hot corner there for the Oilers, playing now in at the cut of the grass. Prepared for any kind of bunt that might come his way from Nickens, the leadoff hitter. Showing bunt, but he's going to have to wait. And Spazzini throws back over to first. So it looks like here the strategy is going to be the bunt from Nickens.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. Coach Ben Taylor needs to try to generate any kind of runs as possible. They're going to try to do the small ball route here and trying to advance the runner over. But this bunt needs to be a good placement because the third baseman is very wary of the bunt.
Very wary he was on that 1-1 pitch that Nickens takes for 2-1. Nearly about 10 feet away from Nickens by the time he pulled back the bat.
Yeah.
So Seifert reading bunt all the way.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has the swing sign on right now because they're expecting it, but he shows bunt.
And the pitch out, nothing on it. Goes AJ Lee. And Nickens now still owning the count. He's been showing bunt this whole AB. This is it up here. From the set, showing bunt all the way. He lays it down right on back to Bazzini. And he only has one play in its defense. So there you go.
You got the job done, and you know what? If he would have bunted it down
Now
the
batting
third
for the
baseline,
Miners. Shortstop. Number 6.
he could have been
Josh
out at second
Bissonette.
base. But he did a good job not putting it down too hard, and the pitcher's only play was to first base. So he moves the runner in scoring position. He did his 1 out. So a base hit here could potentially give the Miners the first lead of the season.
So here you go. It's Bissonette at the plate. Roulette on deck. And Jake Scudder in the hole if he gets that far. The pitch. Taken for strike 1. Much to one of the Oilers fans' dislike. Hearing them all the way here in the press box. Bissonette drills one into the hole somewhere. slight gap in left center. AJ Lee with a big lead, big secondary lead by Lee, and then get on back to second. From here, any kind of base hit, especially with that secondary lead by Lee, definitely is going to score him.
As long as it's not a hard hit ball straight at an outfielder.
Let's hope that is not the case. It's the 1-1 with one out. AJ Lee with a big secondary lead again, outside 2-1. Once again, it's the DH, Josh Roulette, in the on-deck circle, looking on, not even taking any practice swings. He's just very focused now at the play. No, it's going to be the 2-1 to Bissonette. AJ lead, and you would assume takes another one of those big secondary leads. And it's taken 2-2. You would say so far the most crucial inning for the Miners offense. Got that runner in scoring position with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up.
Yeah, this is the best opportunity the Miners really have had all night long. They had one runner in scoring position earlier, but weren't able to capitalize.
And there goes AJ Lead. He's going to steal third without a contest. Much to Ben Taylor's delight as well, giving AJ Lee a fist pump, but a strikeout on Bissonette. Strike out.
Josh Roulette.
And is all up to the DH. The good old designated hitter, Josh Roulette, to drive in AJ Lee, who just stole third on that strikeout. 2 outs, scoreless here in the top of the 6th inning. AJ Lee at third, Roulette at the plate. And Bazzini from the stretch. Low, 1-0. Jake Scudder is on deck if it gets that far. Hoping he could have a chance to take the plate.
Yeah, the stolen base pretty much guarantees a run for the Miners if they do get a base hit.
We'll see if that happens. That's inside, 2-0. 2-0 to the DH. Josh Roulette. Garrison Schwartz, the left fielder, is in the hole. Can this be the first run of the game of the season for the Miners? And it would be the first run of the season given up for the Oilers. Off. Let's see if it can happen. The 2-0 pitch. High, 3-0. Skipper Ben Tate, he's been with those 3 balls, so maybe highly doubtful, but
I say he has the green light here. You know, I mean, it's a scoreless game. I know it's a little bit risky, but you got to be expecting a fastball here.
Catches the knee, says Davis, 3-1.
Yeah, it was not a great pitch for Josh Roulette. Good thing, but he's still in the hitter's count here.
We'll see what he does with the 3-1. At the knees again, 3-2. So Bazzini falls behind in the count, 3-0. Throws 2 straight strikes to a patient Josh Roulette, but nicely located. Now Roulette has to battle it out. If he wins the battle with a hit, then that brings in the first run. This is going to be popped up to Wang Sung in left. He's under it, makes the grab. Miners with a threat can score. They leave 1 runner on. We're going to head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still scoreless here in Kenai, Alaska. You're listening to this broadcast on your Matsu Miner Radio Network. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Kenai, Alaska. And before we lead it on off, we'll tell you about the Palmer Bar. Now with an outdoor seating, you can enjoy refreshing drinks and good friends outdoors in the Alaska Sunshine. Located in downtown Palmer, the Palmer Bar is a great place to grab a bite to eat and take in the sights. Call 907-745-3041 today for a nice outing at the Palmer Bar. Nothing like a few cold iced teas and a chat up with your friends. It's the top of the order here for the Peninsula Oilers. That's the third baseman, Alex Seifert, leading it off. And that's going to hit him. He's going to take his base. Almost looked like he just lobbed out in there. Seifert making no effort to get out of the way. He's going to take first base.
Breaking ball gone right. And, you know, you could really tell right when it left his hands that he knew that it was a mistake pitch, and it ended up catching Seifert on the back. So the Oilers have their leadoff batter on to begin this inning, and they have an opportunity here to capitalize.
An opportunity indeed. That brings right fielder Brian Room to the plate. Hopes is another room pun by Jordan and nothing else to it. We'll see what we get, though. One man on.
My puns aren't that bad, are they?
No, not at all. I'm actually looking forward to another one as long as Room can get out. Hopefully ground into a double play of some sort here. Or at least just an out of any sort. He is down in the count 1-0. Seifert on first. Just a normal lead. Decent secondary lead. And now that ball's low, 1-1.
Interesting to note for the Miners right now that the Miners have their bullpen up and running right now as Justin Vernia is getting loose out there in case Wyatt continues to struggle this inning.
Justin Vernia in the pen, or as he tied Vern, as that ball is taken right over the head of Bissonnette there at shortstop. And that's going to put the first two runners on.
Now batting for your
Hit batsman,
Oilers.
single.
First baseman from
Now
Jacksonville
he's running on
University.
first and
number
second.
23,
Everybody out here for the
Seth
Oilers. And that
DeWitt.
brings up their third hitter, Seth DeWitt. Not the start to the bottom of the 6th inning Ben Taylor wanted from his crew. Perhaps we might see Vernia there in the bullpen warming up with a little bit of a quicker pace. This is going to bring pitching coach Greeley out to the mound. Looks like he wants basically the majority of the infield to come on in. There it is. Jonah Garrison, the last to receive that kind of signal self.
You got to think that this mound visit's just a bide time until Vernia can get loose out there. It's a scoreless game, so all these base runners are very important. There's still nobody out for the Miners, and you got the heart of the order for the Oilers coming up with 3, 4, and 5 with Seth DeWitt coming to bat. So it's a tough game. I mean, it is definitely a pitcher's duel. Clearly, since it's scoreless, the game's at a decent pace, and we'll see who's going to prevail here.
Pitcher's duel indeed. Tyler White did leave him off the board all the way up until this point. You just hope that the wheels aren't starting to come off here in the 6th, as this is his first outing of the season, first outing for any Miner of that matter, as the group meeting at the infield now separates into the regular positions. Greeley back, and it looks like he looked down to Vernie. He's keeping a close eye of him there. Like I said, you just hope that we hope right back on track. And we'll see what he can do here. It's going to be hard. Seth DeWitt at the plate. And he shows courage there, going right at him, 0-1. Top of the 6th inning was the most crucial so far offensively for the Miners. It looks like this bottom of the 6th is going to be the most crucial so far defensively for them. Things didn't pan out as well as they could have in the top of this half. Perhaps they could pan out well here. White steps off the mound. He's been keeping these runners at bay, but perhaps that's also a strategy. Give his teammates some time there in the left field bullpen to keep warming up. As Jordan mentioned, it is the heart of the lineup, 3, 4, 5 up here for the Oilers. They wouldn't want anybody else at the plate. Swung on and chopped. Well, that's going to be a foul ball, 0-2. To the third man in the lineup, Seth DeWitt. playing first base today for the Oilers here in the season opener.
The strikeout would be huge right here for Wyatt to get the first out of the inning, and that would still leave double play as a possibility to get them out of the inning. So they really need to get an out right here. Whether it's a strikeout or
Now umpire Davis calls time. Looked like Seth DeWitt asking for it. Davis says, sure, you can have it. Take a couple more seconds. Now we're going to continue play. Wonder if White gets him out here, if he'll continue with his day at the mound, or if this is his last batter regardless. We'll find that out shortly. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Foul ball. Third base coach of the Oilers trying to call it fair. Umpires, however, are going to disagree with them, and they get the final call on that. So foul ball it is, 0-2.
Yeah, fortunately for the Miners, it's not the third base coach being the third base umpire here.
If that was the case, be in a little bit of trouble. However, that's not, and we'll see what Seth DeWitt does with another 0-2 pitch. Standing in pretty close on that plate, seems to be hugging it. The 0-2, swung out into center field. Make that right center. Niggins giving it a chase. That's going to runner's tag. And now we got Ducks on the pound. They're at the corners, first and third.
Now batting for your
So not a terrible at bat for DeWitt. Puts the Oilers in a little bit more trouble because another ball carried out into that outfield deep enough. You would imagine is going to bring a run in. And it is their cleanup hitter, Wong Shi Sung, here at the plate now.
And you know what? It keeps the double play still intact, so it's not the worst case scenario for the Miners at all. A hard hit ground ball will get the Miners, or it should get the Miners out of the inning. So they still have that to fall back on, and this is a crucial at bat. You still got the middle of the lineup here.
Double play depth that infield is in, as Jordan mentioned, it is still intact. Be much, much, much to the liking of Tyler White, who has battled his butt off so far today. Like to see him go on. Here's the pitch, and this is going to bring in the first run of the ballgame as it goes all the way to the backstop. And it is 1-0. Oilers draw first blood here in Kenai. 1-0. Also advances the runner from first to second. So a man on second with the cleanup man at the plate. And like I mentioned, Oilers drawing the first blood. It's 1-0. White keeping them off the scoreboard up until this point. So that pitch found the backstop. Swung out right here. Making count. He's out number 2. Throwing on back into the infield.
Now batting for your Peninsula Oilers.
And hopefully now maybe Tyler White a little more relaxed. That run's already across the plate. Nothing you can do there. There's 2 outs. Get out of this inning, hopefully with minimal damage. The first 2 runners did reach. Then you face the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5. If he gets out of this inning, only giving up the 1 run, not necessarily terrible. And from what I remember about baseball, 1-0 scores not terrible. 1 run to win this game, so Miners do need to get some offense generated.
No, that's absolutely right. And you hit the nail right on the head there. You have to score to win, and if the Miners can't score, then it's definitely not the pitcher's fault by any means.
So we'll see if they can get that a brewing in the 7th inning. But first, you have to finish out the bottom of the 6th. And that first pitch taken, and shortstop, Jeff Chaperon for a ball, 1-0. Excuse me, pitching well so far. That's inside. So the Oilers fans get to see their first run. They've been waiting for it. Perhaps they'll see the first one of the Miners shortly. At least you would. 2 on the pops him up, but that's going to be out of play. And it looks like it might have.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a strike, 2-1. like to see a little bit more magic. Perhaps is that it or not? Don't know that for sure, though. Regardless if it is, you would love to see him end on a good note.
Good pitch there from Wyatt, but home plate umpire
Disagrees with you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Davis, he disagrees with you. As we learned earlier, he's got the final call. Pitch. Is that all four? And now runners on first and second for the Oilers have the 1-0 lead here.
Now the Oilers.
That's going to make skipper Ben Tate.
Number
Wait
14.
for him to make a signal. He would
move here.
going to give Wyatt a little check. You would think it is going to be an optimistic one. Wheels didn't necessarily fall off here in the bottom of the sixth. He had his toughest inning thus far, but if his toughest inning only includes one earned run, that's not too bad. And out jogs Vernia from the in, and we'll give you a little bit more about him shortly after his warm-up tosses here on your Matsu Minor Radio Network. Back here in the bottom of the sixth inning, season opener against the Oilers, Justin Vernia on the mound here for the Miners as he relieves starting pitcher Wyatt, who had quite the game, Tyler Wyatt, giving up just the one run in this 5 2/3 innings pitch. He is still responsible for the runners at first and second, and the catcher Miller digging in for the Oilers. And now he's going to ask for time. It has been wild in Vernia's life, as he has attended 2 different elementary schools, 2 different high schools, 2 different colleges. Hopefully he only chooses one Alaska Baseball League for his entire career, though. Matsu, his first pitch of his Miners career. No. To the catcher and number 6 hitter in this Oilers lineup, Cameron Miller. Cameron Miller batting from the left side of the plate. He did have a stand-up double earlier today. And there is 2 outs. Hopefully the last of the inning for the Miners. Vernia's pitch, taken wide 2-0, and Squire's now going to want to have a chat with him, perhaps settle him down here in his Alaska Baseball League debut.
Here we go, Oilers. Here we go.
And we must remind you again that Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry believes in building a foundation of trust by treating their patients and children as unique individuals. They understand how uneasy some patients and parents may feel about going to the dentist, like myself, so their office has been designed for everyone to have a fun, relaxed, and positive experience. The kids will love their play areas, including video games and movies, and Mom and Dad will enjoy a sleek and contemporary new office with amazing views, along with complimentary coffee, tea, water, and free Wi-Fi. Give them a call at 745-5437 or check them out online at matsumoose.com. Now, I don't know about you, but complimentary coffee and or tea sounds delicious to me, as there's the 3-0 drilled the second, but it's going to be nothing but a 4-3 out to end this inning. The Oilers do drop one, though. They score one. We are going to head to the top of the 7th inning with the Matsu Miners down in their season debut, 1-0 to the Oilers on your Matsu Miner radio network.
Starters leading up, right?
Top of the 7th inning here in Kenai, Alaska, Carol Seymour Memorial Park, where the Miners trail it by a score of 1-0. The first time we had to mention the Miners trailing this season so far, this young season. This being the season opener for the Miners. Jake Scudder, the leadoff hitter, is going to lead things up. Hopefully, he can try to knock things up here.
Scudder is 1 for 2 on the evening with a double in his last at bat.
Hopefully he can continue suit by getting on base here. So far, he's ahead of the count 1-0. Oilers scoring their first run of the ball game last inning off a pass ball, bringing the runner in from third to home. The 1-0 drill into center field, but it's shallow. And that's going to retire Scudder. 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning.
Now batting for the Miners. Left fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
Don Bazzani still dealing here for the Oilers in the 7th inning. Hasn't allowed much noise yet from the Miners. Keeping them at bay. It's going to be lefty on lefty here now as Jonah Garrison digs in. The pitch. Outside strike, 0-1. Hopefully maybe it can even be something simple, such as back-to-back doubles or first and third, something. Something's got to give, you would think, here on the season opener for the Miners. Who have played well the past 3 seasons, finishing in 2nd place. We mentioned in the pregame show they're looking to get over the hump. It'd be a good start to get this first one off their back here in Kenai against the Oilers. First, they have to tie it up and or take the lead. That pitch is high, 1-2 to the second batter of this inning. Jonah Garrison. Schwartz. Garrison, the left fielder. Slide. And it's 1-2 for Garrison. Here with 1 out, nobody on. Garrison Schwartz, that is, not to be confused with Jonah Garrison on this team. Kind of, in a sense.
One of them has a first name Garrison, and the other one has last name Garrison.
There you go. This one being the first name, Schwartz. Count on him. Base is empty, one out, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Miller's going to send it to third. They'll
Now
throw it
batting
around the
for the
infield.
Miners, right fielder, number 16, Cam Montgomery.
Nobody on the bases for him, two outs. And we've said it before in this broadcast, looks like it's going to take a two-out rally for the Miners offense to get something going. Doesn't matter when that two-out rally comes, as long as they hopefully tie it up or take the lead when that happens. Not the best of starts here for Cam as he goes down in the count 1-0. Looking into Bazzani. The pitch low. Evens the count at 1. Montgomery digging here. Once again with two outs. Oilers have the lead 1-0. Outside, 2-1. 2-1 the count here on Cam Montgomery. There are two outs. Southpaw with the delivery. Taken for a strike. 2-2. And the Miners spend their mornings lifting, running, and staying in shape by visiting the Alaska Club. Visit them in Anchorage, Eagle River, Fairbanks, Juneau, and the Matsu Valley. Visit www.thealaskaclub.com. Good way to spend your morning by staying in shape. Good habits typically lead to good offense. We'll see if that happens here as that's grounded over the short. And yet another 1-2-3 inning here. Oh, the ball gets away. Well, as my grandfather likes to say, don't count your chickens before they hatch. First baseman, and the Miners do have a base runner. Might not have happened in the cleanest of ways, but a base runner nonetheless.
Now batting for the
Your
Miners,
grandfather sounds like a really
third
cool dude.
baseman,
Yes,
number
I at
7,
least like to think so.
Jonah
Quite the sayings he had,
Garrison.
and me using them.
Splattered.
Let's hope so. And this is going to bring the other Garrison, this one with the last name. Swing and a miss, strike one. We'll see what he can do here. And it looks like activity there in the Oilers bullpen. Yi-Sin Huang warming up Oilers. And from the way Bazzani's been pitching, don't necessarily know if the Miners would mind him coming in. As Bazzani has been good today, leaving the Miners off the board. But there is a man on here with two outs, perhaps a rally. There goes the runner. The throw deep. So now a position for the Miners.
Gutsy call there by head coach Ben Taylor, putting the steal sign on there. The batter took to make a good throw, and he didn't make that good of enough of a throw, so credit Cam Montgomery with his first stolen base of the year, and now the Miners have a runner in scoring position with two outs.
High 2-2. Gutsy call indeed with two outs here. You don't necessarily want to kill a minute rally, but I guess Ben Taylor thinking that we have to get something going here. So playing it a little bit more aggressive here late in the game with the Miners being down 1-0. And his third baseman, Garrison Schwartz, at the plate, 2 strikes on him. Swing and a foul ball. All over again. Not from the first inning, still from this point. Will knot things up. Outside 2-2. Full count. Pardon me, perhaps new prescription is needed. Head on down to the team optometrist on my day off. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, I didn't get that bad. Can't get much worse than what my correction already is. But first things first, it's the full count with 2 outs. Taken, and there you go. Walk like a man, Will Jonah Garrison. And that is going to bring the number 8 hitter, Troy Squires, to the plate.
Now batting for the Miners, catcher, number 26, Troy Squires.
And a mound visit here. Will this be the day? Is Bazzani's time done? We'll find out in just a quick second. Looks like that may be the case. If so, Troy Squires will be the first victim of a new pitcher. Looks like he's tying up his cleats a little tighter there. Lacing them up. And as he laces up his cleats, we must tell you about the Palmer Bar now. With the outdoor seating, you can enjoy a refreshing drink and good friends outdoors in the Alaska sunshine. Located in downtown Palmer, the Palmer Bar is to eat and take in the sights. Call 907-745 today. Will be a lot better if the Miners get a win here today. First things first, you do have to tie the ball game up. And it looks like Troy Squires will be facing Bazzini here. The catcher here for the Miners. The pitch. Taken inside, 1-0. It would be quite the clutch 2-out RBI here by Squires if he could get the man in. The dugout for the Miners, everybody's up watching the action. Doesn't seem as if anybody's sitting down. Sign of a good team right there. Want to cheer for the first time for offensive reasons this year. Do they get their chance? The suspense continues. It's 2-0 on Squires.
Yeah, Squires is being pretty patient so far. He's ahead of the count 2-0 here. But you got to think if Squires does reach base here, that the Oilers will make the move.
The 2-0. Swing, says an Oilers fan. Swing, Squires does not, but it's 2-1. You like to see how this Miners offense so far in this game could turn on the switch, mostly being patient but aggressive at times. At least when they've had the chance to be aggressive. Don't necessarily hold back, but for the most part, they've been patient. The 2-1 at the knees, 2-2. Just caught the knees of catcher Troy Squires there, and the deuces are wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners on. Oilers do lead it here in the top of the 7th inning, 1-0. The pitch, there go the runners, and it's going to be a full count. Both of them will take second and third.
So a double steal here is the call on the full. They're on the 2-2
The
pitch.
2-2, the aggression continues.
Usually you'll see that on a 3-2 pitch, but head coach Ben Taylor decides to do it on the 2-2, and now we got 2 runners in scoring position. So a base hit here by Squires could potentially give the Miners a 2-1 lead.
Will that potential 2-1 lead pan out? We'll see on the full count. The pitch. And it catches the plate, says Davis. Squires standing in somewhat disbelief. Has a conversation, slams the bat before he heads back to the dugout. Miners are going to take the field. Oilers are going to take the bat. We're going to stand up and stretch here in Kenai, Alaska. It's 1-0 Oilers leading it, heading into the bottom of the 7th on your Matsu Miner Radio Network. The fans are done stretching here at Coral Seymour Memorial Park as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and we're ready to play ball again. As it is Justin Vernia, as he told me on the bus, goes by Vern, still on the mound for the Miners. The right-handed 6'1" pitcher out of Gonzaga, the junior. Pitched in 42 innings for them, 6 starts, and his 14 appearances. He got 25 Ks for Gonzaga. What he'll do here with his season with the Miners, still a long way to go. 7th inning, though, in this ball game, bottom of the 7th, with the Oilers leading it by a score of 1-0. Not an offensive explosion by any team, to say the least, and that ball's fouled away 0-2. Bottom of the order here for the Oilers, that's 789, Andrew Bash, and then Jake Duro last with Speak in the middle. Daniel Speak on deck. Who's been somewhat pesty today, if my memory recalls. He's done well in this game. Bernie ahead of the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Inside, 2-2. To the first batter, Andrew Bash. Second baseman for the Peninsula Oilers here today. His team leads it by a score of 1-0 here in the 7th as he's leading it off. The pitch, chops it to the backstop, foul. And we're going to have the 2-2 pitch once again, coming up shortly. Justin Vernia on the mound. Sports management major. Wants to be a general manager in the MLB someday. That's quite the interesting. He's aspiring to be there. Doesn't want to play in the MLB. Wants to be a general manager. Well, perhaps when his playing days are done, maybe he's still aspiring to be a player. But regardless, wants a job in the big leagues. Scouting talent, just like himself on the mound. It sounds like he wants to do. The 2-2 pound and foul, 2-2. And the reason the right-handed hurler chose Gonzaga was because he wanted to play for a team with national title intentions and as well earn a prestigious degree. Can't blame him there. Gonzaga good at baseball, good at education. So he chose to head on down there, and there's a ground ball to third. And that's just going to be routine 5-3 put out. Ground out, rather. The boys throw it around the infield, right on back over to Burma. And that's out number 1.
From Florida Tech, number 28, Daniel Speak.
Outfielder Speak coming up here now for the Oilers. And we do want to remind you that Dr. K's Pediatric Dentistry professional care philosophy is to emphasize the importance of building fun, safe, and trusting relationships with parents and their kids, while also developing teamwork decision-making to ensure the highest quality for dentistry. Dr. K's entire staff believes that dental care for children should be as comfortable, pleasant, and stress-free as possible for both the patients and the parents. You can make an appointment at matsumoose.com or call 745-KIDS. matsumoose.com. Not necessarily a hard website to remember. And it's going to be the 0-2 pitch here with 1 out, 2 Speak, and he's going to take 1-2.
Yeah, on the first couple of pitches, the fans were letting home plate umpire hear it. A couple questionable calls. He's had a few questionable calls all game, but it's been going both ways for each team.
As long as it goes both ways, that's about all you can ask for. Is that ball grounded a second, and once more over to first for an out. So 2 ground outs to start the inning here for the 7th and 8th hitters.
Designated hitter.
And 2 straight outs for Vernia.
From Eastern Utah.
It is what you like to see here for the Miners.
Jake Darrow.
And that is going to bring the designated hitter and number 9 hitter, Jake Darrow, to the plate. He's batting from the left side, Vernia delivering as a right-handed hurler. Perhaps we can see one more ground out here and get us to the top of the 8th. Not yet, as that pitch outside, 1-0. Interesting that Oilers have their designated hitter batting in the 9-hole today. Not necessarily a strategy you see all the time, but one you can definitely implement as they do so today. And so far it's paid off enough as they do have the 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Vernia with the 1-1, 2 outs, and a tie, 2-1. Will the 8th inning be the inning that the Miners break through? They got to get there first, but so far no offense, and that's why they trail it here today in Kenai, Alaska. The 2-1 high and outside, 3-1. Vernia getting the first 2 hitters to ground out. Falls behind the count here, 3-1. Came in last inning in relief of Wyatt and got out unscathed. Outside, but catches the plate, and that brings it full. Full count here with 2 outs to the number 9 hitter and designated hitter, Jake Dara. Full count, swung on, foul ball. So Darrow now just battling here at the plate. We'll see if Vernia can send him back into the dugout and his teammates up to the plate. The pitch, and this might just be the 3rd straight ground ball to end the inning. Vernia over there to first, gets there in time, and 3 straight ground balls. Oilers go 3 up, 3 down. We're going to head to the top of the 8th inning. The Matsu Miners must get something going if they want to come out with a W here today, though, in Kenai as they trail it 1-0. You are listening to this broadcast of your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Top of the 8th inning here in Kenai, Alaska at the Coral Seymour Memorial Park, home of the Peninsula Oilers. And they have a new pitcher on the bump. It is Yi Shin Huang, replacing
number 5,
Bazzani, who was stellar tonight in his 7 innings.
Yeah, Bazzani went 7 innings, struck out 11 Miners, and only walking 2. So a very solid day from Dom Bazzani as the Oilers are in position to win this game.
Yes, and he's in position to pick up the W unless the number 9 hitter, A.J. Lee, has something to say about that as he is leading off the top of the 8th inning here with the Miners trailing by a score of 1-0. Their second pitcher they've seen today. Swung on and popped up in the infield, and that is going to be out number 1. A.J. Lee will retreat back to the dugout, and that is going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Madison Lickens. Another product out of Maryland.
Center fielder, number 12, Madison Lickens.
Yi Shin Huang, a 5'9" righty out of National Taiwan Sport University. He's a sophomore there. The second of the 2 Taiwanese players for this Oilers club. His pitch. And that's bunted by Nickens down to the third base line, fielded, and they just get him at first. Interesting idea there by Nickens. Taking a run at something, but nicely fielded there by the pitcher out of National Taiwan Sport University, as he just got him at first by about a step. Going to bring up the number 2 hitter, Josh Bissonette.
Yeah, Nickens laying down the bunt down the third base line. The third baseman came in. He actually bobbled the ball at first, and over at the hot corner, you don't really have much time to react there, and he certainly did not lose his composure and recorded the out.
That ball inside looked like Bissonette almost threw his elbow out at it, maybe trying to take one for the team there and jogging on over to first, but it's just ball one, 1-0. In a pitcher here from Taiwan, he seems to have a little bit different of a delivery. Wonder if that might throw some of these minors hitters off guard a little bit, as they're not necessarily used to seeing that type of delivery. Want to see, maybe he also has something else coming. Swung out to third, and it's going to be a 5-3 put out. Yes, he puts the tag on him, and we're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Miners still yet to score. Oilers have one on the board as they lead it 1-0 headed in super.
Number 26, Alex Seifert.
Leadoff man Alex Seifert leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Oilers. New pitcher towing the slab here for the Miners. It is relief pitcher Gage O'Brien, right-hander out of New Mexico. Makes his home in Tucson, Arizona. And his first pitch, fouled off out of play, 0-1.
That foul ball brought to you by Ozzy Osbourne.
O'Brien won 3-5 as a senior in 2015, but did post a 2.78 ERA and 56 strikeouts and 45 1/3 innings of work. That ball inside, even count at 1. Did not play in 2016, but did pick off 7 base runners as a senior the year prior. That ball chopped over to first. Handed will make the out at first, retiring the first batter of his Miners career.
Now batting for your Peninsula Oilers. Right
And that is going to bring up the right fielder, Brian Room, to the
Cal
plate.
Baptist University, number 37, Brian
Brian
Room.
Room, the number 2 hitter here in the Oilers lineup. His team so far leading it 1-0. Miners yet to score in their season opener. Bottom of the eighth inning. The Miners do want to score. They only have one more inning to do it. That ball finds the backstop area, gets through the wickets of Squires, and it's 1-0. Here in the bottom of the eighth inning, right fielder of the Oilers, Ryan Room, home at the plate. The 1-0. Low again. 2-0. From the 6'4" right-handed hurdler, 195 pounds, Gage O'Brien. Relieving Vernia, who relieved starting pitcher Tyler Wyatt. So this is the third minor pitcher scene we're going to see this afternoon, or evening rather. I still see the sun on my Midwestern brain things since the afternoon, but that is not the last. Watch the broadcast. Swung on, and Jake Scudder, instead of taking it himself, once again will give the feed to Gage Brown. It's a nice feed.
Now batting for your
Gage O'Brien, rather.
First baseman from Jacksonville University.
Batters O'Brien is going to run it over to first and retire them himself. And it's the number 3 man who plays first for the Oilers, Seth DeWitt. Here with 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th inning.
DeWitt is 1 for 3 on the day. A single all the way back in the 4th inning for them.
DeWitt digs in. The pitch catches the knees. 0-1. Like to see O'Brien get DeWitt out here, have a nice 3 up, 3 down opening appearance. See the Miners get something going in the ninth. The 0-1. That ball skips on the dirt, looks at Squires, and hit the home plate ump. Asks him if he needs any assistance. He shakes it off, says no. He's going to rub some dirt on it and get back to calling balls and strikes behind the dish. Looks like skipper Ben Taylor out there asking if he's sure about that. Or maybe just giving him a little bit of stuff. Perhaps throwing a couple jokes his way.
I doubt he's throwing jokes that way.
Be all in good fun. Regardless, Davis is going to have a breather there, as he deserves. That one skipped up and got him look like right by the elbow area. Hopefully he had some padding there. If it doesn't, then I definitely can understand the grimace on his face after that clunked him. Regardless, he's back manning his duties behind the plate. And O'Brien, wild there as that one hits the dirt again, and it's 2-1. A couple wild pitches here so far by O'Brien. A little all over the place, but
What ahead?
so far perfect inning.
18 hours
First
ahead?
2 batters out.
Yeah, 18 hours ahead.
Falls
Wow.
behind the counter 2-1. And now there you go. Evens it back up at 2. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, Oilers do lead it 1-0 in the season opener. That Miners dugout still at the rail. 2-2. It's outside, 3-2. To the first baseman, Seth DeWitt. Umpires showing the rest of the crew that it is 3-2. Reminding them of the situation. Gage O'Brien on the mound is well aware. And here's the pitch. Taken in the center field. Madison Nickens backs up, puts the glove up, makes the catch. And here we go. We're going to head to the 9th inning with the Miners down 1-0. Hopefully they get 2 to take the lead, if not more, on your Matsu Miner Radio Network.
I need the wireless.
Yeah.
right now. So here we go. We have the heart of the lineup here
Now batting
for the Miners. It's Josh Roulette. He's
Number
leading it off. He'll be
25,
followed by the number
Josh
4 hitter, Jake
Roulette.
Scudder. And then in the hole, Garrison Schwartz. Bong Yi-Shin still pitching it for the Oilers, looking for that 2-inning save. Unless he is taken out, although I see no activity there in the bullpen, so it looks like this is his game. Heart of the lineup here for the Miners. You couldn't ask for anything better. And that one's popped up in the infield. Alex waving everybody off, and he's going to make the grab, and that's out number 1 here for the Miners. 1 out, and that's going to bring up the cleanup man, Jake Scudder.
Now batting for the Miners, first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
So 2 outs remain here in the Miners season opener. They trail at 1-0. Not many threats today.
Yeah, Scott were one of, I think, 2 Miners with hits today. So it's a struggling kind of day for the offense, I guess, for both teams. I mean, it's a 1-0 game, but it looks like the Oilers so far have taken advantage of their opportunity.
The Miners arriving to Kenai earlier today, quite a few hours ago. Took off this morning, perhaps maybe a little fatigue. But of course, skipper Ben Taylor is going to see it as no excuse. He wants his club as ready as possible. He's going to expect the most out of them. They trail it here 1-0 with 1 out. See if they get something going. The 1-0 taken, and it's 2-1. 1 out, nobody on to first baseman Jake Scudder. Does have a hit today, as Jordan alluded to. Why not make it another one?
Now's as great as a time as any. Down to the last 2 outs.
Not necessarily a big gap in the outfield. A little shallow and left. Infield at normal depth. Not necessarily any tempting place in the ballpark for Scudder to put it. Just put a nice swing on it, see where it goes. He does have a 3-1 count. And here's the pitch. And that's going to be ball 4. He earns himself a little walk to first base. So the tying run is aboard of the 9th. That is a promising sign here for the Miners. And it brings up the number 5 hitter and left fielder, Garrison Schwartz.
Winning ticket number 677-474. And 677-474.
And that definitely is Scooter Bynum out there jogging on over first. So skipper Ben Taylor puts the wheels on first. Hopefully left fielder Garrison Schwartz could find a sweet spot out there in the outfield. And perhaps Scooter will get a green light from first to third. Who knows?
The Miners with 2 stolen bases already, so we'll absolutely see if head coach Ben Taylor will put the skill sign on.
He has been aggressive the past few innings. Can't blame him for that. We'll see what he goes with here. Bynum with an okay lead, giving a little shimmy there at first.
Yeah. He's in 351 up there right now.
Scooter Bynum, if the name sounds familiar, he did play with the Gold Panthers the past few seasons. Now making a home here with the Matsu Miners. Hopefully we get some good production out of Scooter this year. He is quite the athlete. Heard he can also be quite dominant on the court as well. As that ball popped up in foul territory, third base side. Alex Seifert was fighting with the sun, but makes out number 2. And so the Miners are down to their last bullet in the season opener. That last bullet being a right fielder by the name of Cam Montgomery.
For the Miners, right fielder, number 60, Cam Montgomery.
So Montgomery is going to have to be a 2-out hero if the Miners want to extend this game. Scooter Bynum at first. He's pinch running. That ball, Davis calls it an inside strike, 0-1.
That would have been a great pitch for Scooter to run on as he bolted for second, but then immediately put up the brakes.
Be interesting to see if he bolts for second again, but does not put on the brakes. Only time will tell. 1-0 pitch on the way, and there goes Bynum. Low in the dirt, not even a contest there. He's going to get in there sliding, didn't even need it, but Bynum in second, in scoring position, 2 outs. The count is 1-1 on the number 6 hitter and right fielder for the Matsu Miners, Cam Montgomery.
Yeah, it was a tough play for the Oilers catcher to make. He had to scoop that out of the dirt and then make a great throw, but by the time he already scooped it, Scooter Bynum was already diving headfirst into second base. So the Miners with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. So base hit here could tie the game.
And 1-1, that's 1-2. Right about that. Can't blame catcher Cameron Miller for not throwing it there, but even if he did throw it, very unlikely. As you mentioned, by the time he even got the ball, Scooter was diving on into second. However, the Miners sit here down with their all down to their left. It's 1-2, 2 outs. Now time is called. Oilers lead at 1-0 here. Top of the 9th inning. 2 outs. Cam Montgomery, the right fielder. Will he be the man of the hour? It's either that or the final out of the ball game, perhaps. That ball taken low in the dirt, 2-0. 2-2, sorry. Deuces wild there on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cam Montgomery at the plate. Jonah Garrison is on deck. And if it gets that far, catcher Troy Squires in the hole. Let's hope it does, and much more.
Yeah, base hit here could give the Miners a lot of momentum, especially if they tie up the game.
Runner is on second. Any hit you would think scores the speedy Scooter. But here's the 2-2 with 2 outs. Swung on, and that's lifted. It looks like the center fielder's got it. That is Daniel Speak. He's under it, and that is the final out of the season opener. Oilers taking game 1 here of the season in Kenai by a score of 1-0 over the Matsu Miners. And Jordan just seemed like quite the pitcher's duel. Miners couldn't necessarily get anything going when they did. It was a light threat, but couldn't manage to get anything across the plate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been a pitcher's duel from the get-go, actually. And the lone Oilers run was a wild pitch thrown by Tyler Wyatt. And it's unfortunate for him, but the bats were not there today. So you can't put the blame on him by any means. The bats were simply not there. But the Miners will definitely be looking to even the series up tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as well, right here in Kenai, Alaska.
They do have a chance to get things right back on track and even up their record at 1 apiece tomorrow at 7 p.m. But they do fall here by a score of 1-0. One of the few positives you could take away from that offense was that they were patient when they needed to be, didn't necessarily try to do too much at the plate, and skipper Ben Taylor was aggressive when he needed to be. But regardless, it is a 1-0 win for the Oilers here in the season opener as the Matsu Miners drop game 1 of the season. And that's going to do it here for us at Kenai. Special thanks to Pete and Denise Christopher, and for my broadcast partner Jordan Swick, our media manager, and Collins. Saying I'll catch you on the flip side here on your Matsu Miners Radio Network.